sunlight never sleeps, it's a beauty, color, paradise, paradise. Trees don't grow old and the blue sky's on your mind, and it's 40 miles, 40 miles. Don't mind if we stay here for a while, dreaming of summer paradise, paradise. Your love is real. stay for a while, dreaming of summer. Your love is me. You're all of my love, all my dreams.
I'm here. I'm Ayisha Jaffer. I'm the host of the current chart show, which these guys have knocked Brandi Carlile out of the number one spot with Miles and Miles. How does that feel?
Nuts. No words.
Actually, well then, okay, so Miles and Miles is our listeners' favorite song, right? So that's proof. We have proof knocking Brandi Carlile out. So can you give us any lowdowns about Miles and Miles and the track that you haven't shared so far?
What, like?
Just like making of, or like something we didn't hear in it, or inspiration of it that you may not have shared.
I don't know if there's...
I mean, it's about driving across America.
Yeah.
And
Which is cool, because that's what we're doing now.
It's fairly obvious, really. It's quite a simple track, but it's it does what it's meant to do.
I went out, so Will and I created the Heavy Heavy in our London apartment, one bed. The kitchen was the living room, was the office, was, everything. And I went out for an afternoon and I came back and this song was written. It was complete. And I think that's quite cool because Will was just dreaming and, his imagination went wild with not being trapped in this little flat in London and road tripping across America. And now it's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, which is again quite weird.
I was going to say, before now, had you been to the States, period?
As a visitor, we came in July to do CBS Saturday sessions, but that was very quick. It was fly in record in the studio, go. So it's really nice to be playing live and meeting people, and yeah.
Is there any like takeaways of touring the States so far that have surprised you?
It's even bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm surprised on a daily basis at how far it is to drive from everywhere to everywhere else.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
But also, actually, the music lovers here are such music lovers, and the crowds are. I'm not throwing shade at the UK, but we're quite a reserved people, and Americans are a lot more vocal, and that's awesome. People shouting out during set and stuff. You're like, it's like a conversation.
Yeah. So you've been given permission, everyone, to shout out as much as you love.
Yeah, just heckle us.
Yeah, bring it on.
So Life and Life Only, it's out. You've got 6 songs on that record. We love it. And to me, it feels like it's something like this is like live in the present, like do it in the present. But what is your hopeful takeaway for people for this record?
I think kind of that, right?
Yeah, and dream big, let your imagination go. It can be
fun.
more than just what's in the room. It can be, dream. I think it's maybe cliche, but that's what it is. It's extra. Go the extra mile.
Yeah.
Is that the heavy, heavy part of it? Because to me, the music is so light and fun. I'm wondering why the heavy, heavy?
Good question.
Well, we were listening to an interview with Bowie on the BBC when he released Ziggy Stardust, and they asked, "Can you explain it to us?" And he went, "It's heavy, heavy, man." Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and it is quite a contrast to the music. And, it's quite cool,
But I like that. I love it. I feel like now you got to take that answer for most future interviews. If you don't want to answer a question, just say that. So you made this, you self-produced this in a London flat, but like what led to creating the Heavy Heavy as your new kids on the block here?
Yeah, so I was in a band doing similar music for quite a while back home, and then all of a sudden putting Georgie's voice into that world was like an euphoria, epiphany. It was like, this is it. This is how it should be. The male and female harmonies thing. And we've always grown up with the music of the 60s sort of being thrown at us by our parents, so it's kind of inevitable really, and like that's what we listen to all the time really, as well as all the other stuff. But we felt like we could do it. That was where our tastes and sort of talents lie, in that kind of that world. And
what makes us feel great.
Yeah.
Those records are what move me the most, make me want to kick down doors and hug people. And you know, if that's the music that makes you feel that way, I feel like that's the road you're going to take if you're going to create some.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed inevitable, really. As soon as I put Georgie's voice on, I was like, whoa, right, this is it. This is what we're doing now. And it seems to be, people seem to like it, which is cool.
Yeah, just a nearly sold out US tour.
yeah, it's a little bit mind-blowing. Yeah.
Number one, knocking out Brandi Carlile. So, like, and you touched on this. I know the goal is to make records that are your favorite records, that are someone's favorite records. So what are those favorite records for you guys?
Ooh.
I mean,
it's a big question.
It's a long list.
Yeah, you know, Let It Bleed by the Stones, Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young, Deja Vu, you know, favourite.
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, that whole era. You know.
Joni Mitchell. I mean, it's kind of, we could get very specific on each kind of area, but, you know, as a whole, I think it's like putting everything into the pot. Yeah. And mixing it up and going, well, what have we got in 2022? You know, from all of that glorious stuff that we love.
You mixed it up and it didn't turn gray. It turned into this like rainbow of colors.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, this isn't it. I heard that you guys have written hundreds of songs now in these last couple of years. And I'm wondering if that's stillness or inspiration and excitement and then, like, of course, I have the cheeky question of, like, when can we full album?
Well, this guy never stops writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sort of just comes. There's no real, I don't know, it just happens. So, yeah, I trying to fill a gap in my own brain of what I want to hear. I want to hear more of certain things. So I just keep making more. And, yeah, there'll be more next year. But at the moment, we're sort of putting all these various demos into a kind of pile and working out just what to do with it. You know, we could go quite a few avenues of, you know, direction. We could do quite a few different things, but yeah, it's coming together, and we hope it'll be ready next year, sort of mid to late next year, I think.
Yeah, I like that. That's exciting. Well, also, so this is a question kind of for musicians, because you seemingly came out of nowhere, right? So, like, for an aspiring musician, I know that you've probably put out music before you were signed to ATO, but it's shown as a debut record on ATO. Mm-hmm. So I always think of that as a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck. But what is your happenstance story to getting to that? And no pressure, because I know your exec's like over there.
Yeah, I mean, they called us one day, didn't they?
They did. That's the crazy thing. Like, I think you dream of this situation, but it might never happen. But if you're compelled to create, you have to create, and you work hard and you do loads of different jobs and you keep going and you get doors shut on you. And I don't know, something happened. And I mean, well, I'll tell you what happened. We were found on social media. I complain about the thing, but it's where we were discovered. So you've got to love it. We were put on a playlist, and then someone heard that and they sent it to the record label, and the record label sent it to management, and suddenly everything kind of came together in about 3 days after wanting it for years and years and years and years and years, you know.
And now you're miles and miles down the road, and here we go.
Down the river.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, we got this. We can make this a whole story.
Yeah.
Before I let you guys go, is there anything else you want our listeners to know? Because you're new here around the block, and I want them to know you.
I don't know.
I don't think we've got an answer for that.
I don't think we have an answer. Do we have an answer for that?
Go to the shows.
Yeah, come see the shows. Come buy a vinyl. Come get it signed. We want to meet you, and let's have a great time.
Yeah, let's have some good times.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. The Heavy Life and Life Only is out now here at the Current Studios. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.